Hi, I'm Cheryl, and welcome to my podcast. Today, let us talk about herd mentality and friendship. I will discuss three parts of this topic, which are the definition of herd mentality, the causes, and the effects. The guests for the interview will be Yana from America and Estelle from China. Do you feel like people around you are similar to you? Or do you subconsciously make friends with people who look the same? Have you ever thought about what makes you get along with similar people? Today, let's discuss the herd mentality. Just don't be scared about that unfamiliar term. Let's start with a story that happens to me. Since I'm a transfer student from another country, everything in America seems so different. The most difficult thing is that this culture has various kinds of people. People came from different areas around the world and gathered here. There's one thing that makes me really confused. I've noticed that different cultures tend to stick together. For example, white people always hang out with white people. Black people always stay with other black people, and Asian people also are with Asian ones all the time. I could not stop thinking about why people are acting like that. I really want to dig out something, so I opened Google. I noticed the term herd mentality. According to Overworld and his team's work, How Herd Mentality Explains Our Behavior, which was published on Very Well Mind in May 2023, herd mentality occurs when individuals adopt the beliefs, behaviors, or attitudes of the majority in a group, often at the expense of their own judgment or individuality. So one question appeared in my head so naturally. How does herd mentality affect our friendships and lives? There's a very interesting phenomenon that happens on sheep called herd behavior, which means sheep act the same way as others without centralized instruction. Maybe shepherds know that better than most of the scholars. It seems like people also have the same mentality, which is known as herd mentality. Scholars can definitely beat the shepherds on this. Patterns of cross-racial friendships can be a very interesting point of entry of that phenomenon. Plummer and his team published their work in the scholar journal Cultural Diversity and Ethnic Minority Psychology in 2016. According to their research, cross-racial friendship is significantly influenced by different individual characteristics. It is also affected by cultural background, social and political context. Back to our college, I just want to narrow this big result and listen to what my friends say about other people that they choose to be friends with. Here, I interviewed two amazing friends of mine. One of them is also a transfer student from China, and the other one is a new friend I met after I came here who is local. Hi Yana, hi Estelle. There are some questions for you guys. Okay, hi Yana.
Hi.
So the first question is, what do most of your friends look like? Do they look similar to you or act like you?
I think most of my friends do look similar to me because I think people with a similar style and personality will kind of gravitate towards each other. But I think like if they act like me, I think a lot of my friends act very differently than me. We just have like different personalities, but we might look similar.
Okay, yes. Hi, welcome to my podcast. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Estelle.
So the first question for you is that, what do most of your friends look like? Do they look similar to you or act like you?
Most of my friends are quiet and reserved, so I think the reason we can become good friends is because we are similar. Like we have the same way of thinking and we can agree on a lot of things.
Okay. So far so good. We have already discovered both scholars' opinions about cross-racial friendship and my first little ideas about college friendship. we can make a brief conclusion that there must be some mental reasons that make people choose similar ones as their friends. And it refers to our old friend herd mentality, which is about the adjustment of behavior when individuals are in a specific group. Can't wait to know more about this interesting thing, right? Let's demystify it here. Okay, let's welcome again to my two friends. Here's another question for you. What makes you tend to get along with these friends that are similar to you?
Probably just talking about like our hobbies and interests first of all, and then getting closer and getting to know each other.
Yes.
I think really anyone can get along with anyone as long as you respect each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess
Okay.
yeah.
So there's one important reason that you have like similar hobbies or similar interests like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because then that's like a starting point for what to talk about and like getting to know each other.
Okay. So Estelle, what do you think of that question?
First of all, they are nice and I feel comfortable if I stay with them. As I mentioned before, we are similar, so we have the same thinking pattern and so on.
Okay.
So we don't fight over disagreements, and I think it is important to a healthy relationship.
Okay, that makes sense. Here I conclude some reasons that people always want to be with someone who looks like them. First, similar people might have more common topics to talk about. People in the same area may have the same cultural background and religious beliefs. For example, if you come from India, maybe you want to find a friend who also believes in Buddhism. Or if you come from Korea, you want to have a friend who is also a fan of K-pop. That's so natural and actually makes sense in a close relationship. Another reason is people who look similar always come from the same country. That means they can speak their mother language with someone from their home country. As for myself, talking with my Chinese friend is always easier than using English to talk. I don't have to think a lot about grammar and vocabulary. You can also easily catch other people's feelings. When we talk about Chinese food like dumplings and Beijing duck, we can easily understand each other. That happens more often among transfer students. Being with someone that is similar to you seems easy and interesting. However, according to Overworld and his team's work, which was published in 2023, as humans, our brains tend to take mental shortcuts that sometimes cause us to depend on the views and behaviors of others instead of thinking critically. That just makes me think, if we get along with similar people from the same culture for our whole life, will we confine ourselves to an information cocoon? The definition of information cocoon was given in a book called Emphathopia, How Many Minds Produce Knowledge. It's written by Sunstein in 2006. According to Sunstein, information cocoons create an environment in which people only encounter voices that express opinions and ideas similar to their own. Such an environment in which similar content is repeated and reinforced is known as an echo chamber. Imagine the picture. There's a frog at the bottom of a well. It spent all its life there. So it will recognize that the small round sky above the well is the whole sky. Scary, right? Have you ever thought about this situation also happening in humanity? If we confine ourselves into an information cocoon. If you follow the herd mentality too much, you will find yourself in a well like the frog. You will find you confine yourself into an information cocoon. Here, I'm going to analyze some bad effects of herd mentality. According to Cooder Scholar article which was published in 2021, as a teen, you're more likely to be swayed by the heart. Teens are more susceptible to peer pressure because their character is still developing. Here, I have two more interesting questions for my friends. So the next question, do you think your friends convinced you into an information cocoon?
I don't think so. All of us are open to new information and accept new concepts, so on.
Okay.
And we always exchange our new ideas, new discoveries.
Okay.
To each other.
What do you think of that question, Yana?
I think maybe because since you gravitate towards people who are similar to you, I feel like you might have like similar opinions on things, so you just hear like the same information. Or you just agree on a lot of things, like you have similar opinions. So I think, yeah, that might be true.
Here's the last question. Do you feel sometimes you need to sacrifice some opinions or choices in order to keep the friendship?
I think it depends on different situations, but I think a good relationship is the outcome of compromise. Everyone in this relationship will sacrifice something more or less for others.
Okay. So you think maybe you sacrifice something for your friend to keep the relationship?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, I think, but only for like, I can only think of like one friendship that I have where that has happened. But sometimes also no, because if you're really similar to that person in terms of your opinion, then you kind of just agree on most things. So I think it just depends on the person and like what you're willing to give up to still be friends with them.
After analyzing, I conclude some bad effects of herd mentality. First, you may always receive the same information from other people. That is, since your friends are the same as you will always just reach a very little part of the world and stare at a very little sky like the frog. Second, maybe you will have to make the same decision and sacrifice some preferred choices to get into the group. More seriously, if you become part of a group that has little respect for others, bullies non-members, and participants in negative behaviors, you have to follow their behaviors and do the things that are really bad. Since we already know the bad parts of herd mentality, do you feel that you need some new blood in your life? Now it's time to meet new friends. As a transfer student, when I first came to this distant university, I felt everything was very unfamiliar and uneasy. However, I pushed myself to make new friends. One afternoon, I invited Yana to sit next to me in a coffee shop and immediately became good friends with her. She's one of the interviewees in today's podcast. I want to use my experience to encourage you to take the first step, and everything happens so naturally. However, just being brave is sometimes not that enough. Here's a very interesting experiment that might give you some inspiration on choosing a new friend. This psychological experiment was initiated by participants in 2017. It separates participants into 3 groups and each contains 10, 5, or only 1 person. It tests how long it takes for the first participant to give a hand to another person who seems having a trouble pitching a tent. The result shows that the more participants a group has, the longer time it takes to offer help. When a group only has 1 participant, the person always tends to show more empathy for others. Got it? When we associate this result with college friendship, one important hint to make a new friend is to choose a person that seems alone. That kind of person will have a higher probability to let you become a close friend with them, since they will show higher empathy to other people. Okay, today we talk about what is herd mentality, what causes that, and how we can use or avoid it in real life. I appreciate the time you spent with me. Now, it's time for you to build new friendships and enjoy your wonderful college life. Thank you. I'm Cheryl.